I will do several things to hold myself accountable and make sure that I'm setting myself up for success. Now, I've made a personal pledge to you that you will know that you can trust me to go to Washington to fight on your behalf. The first pledge, as I said, I will serve no longer than 3 terms, which is 6 years. The second pledge is that I will not accept their lifetime benefits, their retirement plan, or their health care package. Because it's a shame. Nobody else has an opportunity to work a couple years and be set for life. Third, I will never vote for a pay raise. Now, more than likely I'll get one because every year the politicians automatically vote themselves a pay raise, but I'm going to donate that to my local church and local charities. But most importantly, I will not move to Washington. That is the biggest problem. Politicians get elected, they go to Washington, and you never see them again. And they live in this bubble, and they forget all about us and our values. So I'm not going to buy a house or a condo. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fly out there on Monday, sleep in my office during the week, and come back home every weekend to be with you. Because my first and foremost priority is serving the Hoosier people. And I can't do that if I'm constantly in Washington. Now, there are 3 major things that I will do once elected when governing. The most important thing that I will do when it comes up to a bill how to vote, well, I will line it up with the Constitution. I will line this up to say, is this constitutional or not? Second, is I will listen to my constituents, the people in which I serve. You get the opportunity to talk to me and get your thoughts on what's going on with this bill. But third, and most importantly, is my personal relationship with God. Every day I will be on my knees asking God for wisdom and how to vote. And that's what you can count on me to do as your representative.
Thank you, gentlemen. You've really done exceptionally well as far as answering these things. Some of the questions from the audience have all focused in on the war on terrorism. And we're already going to be finished, but I don't think you'd mind answering one more. What is your position on the war on terrorism, and what foreign policy decisions would you like to instill with regard to the Middle East and especially with regard to our relationship with Israel?
Thank you. Well, I'm not going to discuss whether we should have went to Iraq or Afghanistan or not because that's long behind us. But we did it the wrong way. Congress should always make a declaration of war. But they didn't do that. So because of that, the politicians are playing politics with our men and women over in Iraq and Afghanistan. But most importantly, our military was not set up to nation build. Okay, our young men and women didn't sign up to build playgrounds, schools, and parks in other countries. No. But the worst part, our military is simply too bureaucratic. Our military has to go through a chain of 21 commands before they can fire back on the enemy. Now, is that a way to fight a war? No. Is that a way to win a war? No. So I say either let our men and women fight and win this war or bring them home now. But as we all know, our military is only as great as our commander-in-chief. And right now, I don't trust our commander-in-chief. There's no clear-cut strategy or plan for victory. And most important thing is we need to secure our own borders. We have our troops on borders of other countries, but we can't even secure our own borders. That should be our top priority. And so my goal is actually to build up the military. But the way we do that is not send more troops to other countries. No, we're already in 130 out of 192 countries. That's ridiculous. My goal is to build up our naval fleet. Okay, so we can be mobile, so if a crisis did happen, and if we made a declaration of war, then we could actually be in a position to do something about it. Think about it. We had the greatest military in the history of the world. We could have been done with Iraq and Afghanistan years ago, but we're not doing it. Okay, so my goal is I believe in peace through strength. We don't go to other countries to pick fights. We are there to protect us and protect our freedom and prosperity.
This is one reason I worked with President Reagan on this SDI program. Right now, the North Koreans are getting ready to shoot off a missile. Maybe they've already done that. Had this president, President Obama, kept the defense initiatives in place that President Bush had and others, that we would already have the capability of knocking that missile right out of the air. But no, we shelved them, saved money, put it elsewhere, and now we don't have that capability. So those are, peace through strength has been a philosophy that I certainly subscribe to. Like I told you, I was an airborne infantryman. Military is designed to kill people and break things. It's not a very pleasant experience, believe me. So I would never support any action such as we're into now unless it is a declaration of war by the Congress, number one. And number two, if we get into it, we get into it to win. And we have a goal and a time set, and we get it won, and we get out. Because you're going to hurt a lot fewer people on both sides if that's your philosophy. So, like, yeah, I'm from the old school. The people in the Second World War in this country, we went in to win the war, we did it, and we got out, we rebuilt the countries, and everything is great. Now, look where we are in, let's go to Korea, let's go to Vietnam, let's go to Iraq and Afghanistan. Who knows what's going to be left over there when we leave? We didn't complete the mission. So if you get into a scrape, you go in to win, or you don't go in the first place.
Chair, aggravating. I hate war. I hate the fact that we're in war. But I believe in this case, it was a necessary evil, because they did come over here and start it with us first. I just recently took a class in college on Islam, and the fact that more people, they don't practice their religion like the ones that they're calling the extreme Muslims do. It's in their Quran to get rid of infidels, and we're all infidels. So if they actually all practice their religion, we'd all be in trouble, especially since there's over 5 million Muslims in the United States. But the fact that we're at war, I hate it that we are. I think we need to protect Israel, because if Iraq gets a nuclear bomb, I believe that they would actually use it, because they hate each other with a passion. The Islam and the Jewish people, they just don't care for each other for the same reason. So I think that we would need to protect them. But we need to do it through the right channels. We need to have a declaration of war. Just like Don said, we need to have a set time, a set goal, and a set plan. Get in, let them do it, and get out. That's exactly what we need to do. If we're not going to do any more than nation build, then we need to actually leave and come back home. I think we need to have a skeleton crew right there right now, and while they build up their own forces and train, that way they'll know how to take care of themselves, to keep the Taliban from coming back into power, because the Taliban, they are a group that we just do not need to associate with, especially if you're a woman in Afghanistan. The Taliban just was really, really bad to women. So I think that we need to have a training type so they can police themselves, and that's where I stand on that.
I'm not really sure the question got fully answered, so I'm going to start with the state of Israel. Even if you do not share my passion for Israel through faith, it's a free country. You have every right not to do so. But even if you do not, I hope you would agree that we have a responsibility to our allies, and the greatest ally we have in the Middle East is the state of Israel. And so as your congressman, I would do everything in my power to make sure we protect our greatest ally, the state of Israel. My biggest concerns from a foreign policy point of view, and I will talk about our military at the end, my biggest concern right now is the Muslim Brotherhood that is taking root in Egypt and in Libya. And I view both of those as a threat to the state of Israel. I think it's interesting to note that President Obama's first foreign policy speech was given in Egypt, and it wasn't long after that the revolution began. And I would submit to you that what is taking place in Egypt is not true democracy at work, but it is the Muslim Brotherhood that's gaining a foothold in the Middle East, and I think they have one aim, and that is to take out the nation of Israel.
And so I think we do need to keep our eyes on what's going on there. I want to talk about our military for just a moment. Absolutely, we need a strong military. And I do subscribe to peace through strength. But I have a passion that we do not do a good enough job of taking care of our military. How many of you have ever been to a VA hospital? How many of you believe that the care that our veterans are given is good care? Just a few. I've been to the VA hospital more than once. I would submit to you that if this federal government cannot do a good job taking care of its veterans, then how in the world do we think we're going to provide health care to everybody in the United States of America? So it's a passion of mine to do a better job of taking care of the men and women who put their lives on the line every day for our safety.
Ladies and gentlemen, that completes our Informed Voter event. I'd like to give all our gentlemen a fine hand. They have agreed to stay a little bit longer.